Hey guys, Nick here with another tutorial, and today I'm going to be showing you how to export COD4 maps to 3ds Max, and also a way that you can get text in there so it's like motion tracking, but it's perfect motion tracking, because it's built right into the map, because you have a full 3D model of the map. So what you're going to want to download, you're going to want to download this program, 3D Ripper DX. A link to their website will be in the description. It is a free program. And then once you open up the installer, you're going to click next, accept the agreement, next, hit next again. Now this is important. You're going to pick your version of 3ds Max. So it works with all of these ones and all of these ones. And the one that I have is 3ds Max 2010 design 64-bit, because this is where I have Rayfire installed, which is another plugin you're going to need for this tutorial. So you're going to go to your the location of 3ds Max on your hard drive. 64-bit is in 86 and 32-bit is in normal program files. So once you hit that, you're going to hit next again. I also installed it for this one as well, because this is the one that I have on my thing as well, so I'm going to have this one. Just make sure you check the little box. So then you're just going to continually hit next and blah blah blah. I already have it installed, so I'm just going to cancel this now, but let that install. Once that's done doing that, you're going to open up 3D Ripper DX. Next part is to tell it what game you want to analyze. So this is the location for my COD4. You must have COD4 on PC installed if I haven't said that yet, and multiplayer and everything. So you must have this. This is the location if you bought it off of Steam. If not, just open this and find your COD4, so the Infinity Ward 3 multiplayer.exe. Just make sure capture all shaders and capture all textures is clicked. You want F12, F11, F10, or whatever you want really, and then just leave these the same, and then hit launch. Just let COD4 open. Alright, so once you're inside COD4, pick your profile, pick your graphics. You want 720p. Make sure your texture settings are set to extra, or else the render will look really bad. It may make your FPS really bad, but that's okay. And then also you want to go to controls, look, center view, and set it to a key you're going to remember, or else the map will look all distorted. So once you got that, you're going to start the server, pick the map you want. So I'm going to use this one, which is going to be mode, unlimited, hardcore, spectating, free. That's important. Put that on, doesn't matter. Then just hit start. Then we'll just wait for the map to load, and basically you're gonna export the map to 3ds Max so that we can use it and put in our text. Alright, so the map has loaded. Just hit auto assign, then go back, then you hit spec mode, and then basically you take whatever part of the map you want. You don't want to render out big chunks of the map because it will be really slow in 3ds Max, and you have an amazing computer. I don't, so I'm just going to take this little building right here, and it is better.
Take no prisoners, comrades.
Without the sky. Basically, to do this guy, you just take a plane and stick any kind of texture of the sky on it, and it'll show up. But what you want to do, I usually stick to places without sky because it doesn't look as nice. So I'm just going to use this building here. So anything behind you where you're standing will not be exported, so whatever you want, make sure it's the focal point in front of you. So once you have it set up, just hit your center view key and then hit F12. Then you'll see it's capturing the frame, and it should be done, and you can go back to our test. Now your frame will be saved under My Documents, My Documents 3D Ripper DX frames, and it'll have the date and everything. So 13/12/2011, so it's going to be this frame. So now we're going to head to 3ds Max. So I'll let that open up, and we'll see you in a few minutes. Alright, so once COD4 open, we're going to go into our look control, set our center view to a key we'll remember. Go into the options, graphics, 720p, set your textures to extra, then go into game mode settings, unlimited, hardcore on, spectating, make sure it's set to free. Then just start up whatever map you want, to export to 3ds Max, and once this loads up, hit auto assign, hit back, then you'll be in your spectator. You don't want parts with lots of sky, you want small sections of the map that are easy to work with. So I'm just going to use this building over here. Anything behind you is not going to be exported, so just line up right here, and then we're going to take a screenshot of this video. So hit P, which is center view, and then hit F12, and this is going to save the frame, and you can import it into 3ds Max. And in a second now I'll just show you where it is saved so we can use it. Alright, so sadly I had to do this again because I left COD4 open and the noises in the background, so hopefully you guys can hear me this time. So anyways, we're going to go to the frames folder and we're going to drag in our frame that we just exported. It'll say import 3DR, this big green bar will come across. Just keep your cursor in the center of this little plane here, just because if you import anything it's going to default right there to the center, and if your map's way off then it's going to kind of be hard. So you can see it there. We're just going to put it there right by where we want our text to be. We're going to zoom in and you can see that our map is in 3ds Max and it is nice and textured and looks pretty good already, but we're going to do some stuff that's going to make it look a lot better. I'm going to delete this because it is going to be in the way of the text, because I want it to be in front of the door here. And as you can see, it's kind of stretched out a bit, so what you can do is you can select all of these draw cells, which is just basically everything in the map, and if you select the scale, you can change the size, which changes, so you can make it like everything bigger, you can make it wider, flatter, taller, whatever you want. But I'm just going to leave it the way it is, but that's just for your reference. If you import a model, you can scale it down to the size of the model. If it looks distorted, if it's too wide, it's not like circles and stuff, you know, if you know what I mean, like maybe this looks too long and it should be taller than it should be wide, then you can scale it to the appropriate size. But for now, we are just going to go and leave it like this. So I'm now going to show you how to add some lights, which is going to make it look a lot better. So we're going to go to standard lights, skylight. It's a lot of just testing and figuring out the best lighting for you that you can do. So I'm going to stick the light over about here. Yeah, that should be fine. Then I'm going to take an Omni and I want to stick it in the building here because it gives it really nice shadows from behind where I'm going to put the text. So I'm going to stick it about there. I'll see how that looks afterwards. Bring this down just over. Okay, there we go. You're going to want to go to this modify panel and change the color. So go here, click the color channel, and then you want to bring down the blue, bring up the green, and it's going to give you this orangey kind of color. You can vary it. It's going to make the map look a lot nicer. So actually, if I just zoom in here, give it a quick render. Oh, this isn't set to 1280 or 720p, but I will show you those render settings after. But as you can see, it's kind of got these nice reds and the shadows here, and it's got light in here and nice shadows back there, and everything's kind of orangey tint. So that looks really nice. So next thing I want to mention quick before we get into the text is that if you zoom out here, you can see that there isn't like a sky or anything, and if you render something and you want to use a part that has a sky, I recommend not doing it. But if you do want to do it, all you got to do is create a plane from the shapes menu and add a bitmap texture that has a picture of a sky and do it that way. I did that in the community montage preview if you've seen that. But I try to avoid using sky just because it doesn't look as nice. So if you can avoid it, try to. But anyways, this is why I'm using this building here, just for sake of easiness, I guess. So we're going to add our text now. So we're going to come to Shapes, Text, and we're going to click here. And you can see it already says Max Text, but it is not 3D. So we're going to type it in. I'm just going to type in Kesla, like that. You can pick whatever font you want. I'm going to use Impact because that's what I usually use for my 3D text. It's nice and bold and kind of small, so it looks really good. Just go to your rotate tool. We're going to rotate this 90 degrees up here. And you can see that it looks like it's to the scene, but if we zoom out here, it's not. What you want to do, if you're doing it this way, you're going to want to actually make it so that it is in the spot in the scene that we want. So drag it here. We can see now it's touching the floor. Now it's above the floor. We're going to center it in front of the door where we want it. So that's about good. It doesn't have to be perfect, just so you guys understand. Then we're going to come to the modifier tool. We're going to select from the modifier list bevel. Type in B and it'll bring you to all this. Click bevel. And you can see it's becoming 3D. Increase the height to however you want it. I'm going to put it to about 40, 38.5, whatever. Close enough. Then just go to your text and make it as big as you want. So I'm going to make it about there. And you can see now it is perfectly motion tracked, if you want to say that, because you are rendering out a whole 3D model of the map. So there is our text, and if we click this button we can just change the color. I'm just going to make it orange so it fits the scene. This little button here, you can make better materials and make it glossy and everything else, but just for simplicity I'm going to leave it like this. I'm just going to rotate this up a bit, and there we go. And if we change our render settings now, render setup, custom HD TV output size 1280 720. Make sure your renderer is Mental Ray Renderer. Hit that, give that a quick render, and then you will see that we have our map here. We got our text. We got this nice lighting. We got these nice big shadows coming off of the text. It looks really nice. They might be too big. You can change that if you want, but I like having these big shadows. It gives it a really nice effect. My computer's really laggy right now, so I'm not going to let this fully render, but I'm just going to close this, make sure that's off, and let's just do some basic camera animations quick before getting into the next part. So if we hit Control C, that's going to create a camera at this position. So if we switch viewports here, let's just change this to smooth plus highlights and perspective. Now you can see it's just like before, and our text is right there. And if we zoom out, there is our camera. So if we move this, you'll see in the viewport underneath that our camera is moving along in the viewport. There's two parts of the camera. There's the focal point here, which can change that, and the camera basically orbits around it if you move it forward and backwards and stuff. So we're going to hit auto key, and we're going to make a starting position for our camera. We're just going to stick it over here, kind of to the left of the camera. I'm actually going to zoom in a bit. Bring this in. Just bring this down a bit. Don't want to show the empty floor. And then we'll go to about 40 frames in. It's about a second and a third long. And we're going to drag this to the right, drag this to the right, and drag this just down maybe. There we go. And if we drag it back, scrub through our timeline, you can see we just have some basic camera animation. And you can do this as complex as you want and do as much as you want to it. But that's basically it for this part of the tutorial. The next part, in a separate video, which the link will be in the description, is going to be our Rayfire part, so that it looks like there's bits and pieces of the text and they come together to form the text again. Alright, so see you then.